Good evening, and welcome to Neutral News, the program that observes the howling abyss of modern culture and offers a quiet, slightly disappointed sigh. Tonight we examine a phenomenon that has gripped the nation with more tenacity than a poorly worded timeshare agreement, the industrial-scale production of human misery for our listening and viewing pleasure. We are talking, of course, about the true crime epidemic. It seems one can no longer boil a kettle or walk the dog without being offered a 7-part investigation into a terrible affair in a different county. For more on this grave concern, we go to our correspondent, Susan. Susan, I trust you're somewhere suitably atmospheric, a foggy moor, perhaps.
Not quite, Neil. I'm standing in a supermarket aisle next to the breakfast cereals because this is where the modern consumption of true crime primarily takes place, nestled between life's most mundane activities. The data suggest a direct correlation between the rising popularity of podcasts detailing grim 1980s teases and the national sales of muesli. It appears the public now requires a detailed account of some foul deed to truly appreciate the texture of the morning oats.
A fascinating, if deeply unsettling pairing, like pineapple on a pizza, but with more forensics. So, we've essentially taken the most horrific moments of other people's lives and turned them into a kind of audio wallpaper. What is the appeal? Is it just rubbernecking on the motorway of life, but with a subscription fee and better theme music?
The appeal is multifaceted, Neil. Firstly, there's the Armchair detective syndrome. Listeners armed with 3 episodes of information and a dangerously inflated sense of their own deductive reasoning feel they could have solved the case in half the time, usually by noticing a suspicious-looking pot plant in a crime scene photo. It's the same logic that makes people yell at professional footballers on the television. Utterly useless, but deeply satisfying.
Yes, the national delusion that we are all just one clue away from being Sherlock Holmes when most of us can't find our own car keys. It's a bold juxtaposition. So it's a hobby, like building old railways, but instead of creating a charming benitive village, you're mentally reconstructing the crime scene.
Precisely. And the industry has responded accordingly. It has become a sort of flat pack kit for a tragedy. You get your slow, ominous drone shots of a provincial town. You have the interview with a childhood friend who says the culprit was always a bit quiet, but seemed nice. You get a gravel-voice American podcaster whispering conspiratorially, as if they're letting you in on a state secret and not just reading a public record into an expensive microphone.
It's the audio equivalent of buying pre-distressed furniture. It gives the illusion of depth and darkness without any of the actual unpleasantness. It's misery, gentrified. Now, Susan, this has surely reached a point where it's causing societal issues. Are we seeing any practical consequences of this national obsession?
We aren't, Neil. There's a growing problem of what experts are calling narrative contamination. People are applying the tropes of true crime to their everyday lives. A neighbor failing to bring in their bins is no longer a minor annoyance. It's suspicious behavior indicating a potential double life. A partner being late home from work is now grounds for checking the patio for freshly disturbed soil. It's creating a level of domestic paranoia not seen since the Cold War. Only now the suspected agent is your husband Kevin, who you think might be hiding something because he bought branded tea bags.
So the solution to this rampant paranoia is presumably to consume more true crime content, to learn how to spot more red flags. It's a genius business model. Sell the disease and the supposed cure in the same podcast feed. Has the government proposed any response to this? A regulatory body, perhaps?
There have been whispers in Whitehall of a new department, Neil, the Office for Crime-Based Entertainment Regulation and Standards, OFCRIM for short. Their Kamal's remit includes ensuring a minimum number of red herrings per series to maintain narrative tension and a moody music quota. They're also considering a controversial satirical solution to the problem of supply.
A satirical solution? Do enlighten us.
It's a proposal, Neil. To streamline the entire process, the Preemptive Narrative Act would require anyone planning a major transgression to first submit a detailed, multi-episode podcast outline to a commissioning editor at Netflix or Spotify. The event could only proceed once it has been greenlit for a 6-part series. This ensures that only narratively satisfying crimes are committed, saving producers valuable time and resources in post-production. It's a public-private partnership for the modern age.
Fiendishly practical. It cuts out the messy, unpredictable reality and gets straight to the monetizable content. It's the sort of absurdly logical idea that you'd expect from a government committee. Let's bring this back to a grounded observation, Susan. What does this say about us as a people? That we unwind from a stressful day at the office by listening to the intricate movements of a long-forgotten fugitive.
The prevailing theory, Neil, is that it's a form of control. In a world of chaos, a true crime story offers a neat packaged narrative. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end, usually with the bad person being caught. It's a story. And like, say, your electricity bill or the geopolitical climate, it has a resolution. It's the comforting bedtime story for an anxious generation, just with a much higher case file count.
A comforting bedtime story. It's like being tucked in by a surprisingly grim storyteller. So, to summarize, we are turning real-life horror into a passive hobby, making ourselves paranoid about our loved ones, and the only logical solution is to formalize the process so that future events are more binge-worthy. A situation of dead certainty, one might say.
That is a chillingly accurate and commendably neutral summary of the situation, Neil.
Thank you, Susan. So, the next time you find yourself folding laundry while listening to a detailed account of a notorious criminal's trial, just pause and remember, you are not just doing chores, you are participating in a grand cultural ritual. You are processing collective trauma in the most British way possible, quietly, judgmentally, and with a cup of tea. Good night.